karaoke. 5 p.m. CST, some days is where to be. Sing your heart out at karaoke.
All right. Here we are. Day
Woo! Look at that. I
29.
want to go to karaoke.
Well, I
Woohoo!
want to go to karaoke too. That's hot off the press. That's the brand new stinger for karaoke. You saw it here first, folks. And karaoke is something that the pair community has every Sunday at 5 p.m. EST. And it's all about this guy right here. Mrs. Pixel, would you mind telling us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So this is our one and only Orchard Brown singing our famous track, Trials of a Pair, available on all major music platforms for 60 cents so that it supports our product, which is a pair meme coin on Solana. Pair, we're Pepe, but we're a pair. And you can check us out. Our website is paircoin.xyz.
Oh yeah,
And
right. I'm like feeling behind the curve. Okay, here we go. I usually get that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Dan.
On it. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Yep. For if you are URL centric, there it is. But why else are we here? What is this? Why are we live streaming right now?
Where am I? What is
Where
going
am I?
on?
What is happening? Well, you know what? Let's get oriented, shall we? We have a brief live stream tonight, and we are on day 29 of the How Can I Keep From Singing 30-Day Challenge. That's right, folks. It's the penultimate live stream for this series. And you can join us right here in the How Can I Keep From Singing Nas.io community. And again, in case you are more URL oriented, you can go to nas.io/keep singing. I learned all about that from Mrs. Pixel, whom I met on day 2 of this challenge, which is exciting.
Look how far we've come. We're
I
almost
know.
to the end.
27 days into, 28 days. Yeah. That
28 days later.
Here we go. Yeah. 28 days later on day 29 of a 30-day challenge. So it's pretty exciting when you just like reach out on the internet saying like, dang it, I'm going to claim to show up at, for 30 days in a row and see what happens. And this is the cool thing that happens is not only do you do the showing up, but you meet people along the way and then you build things together, like a whole rest of the 30-day challenge. Mrs. Pixel, let me ask you honestly, did I have a very clear and articulate roadmap of what this challenge looks like when I met you on day 2?
I don't know how to. Is this
Be
a trick
honest.
question?
Be honest. No, this is an honest answer, and the answer is
No, absolutely not. Low stakes. Show up.
low stakes.
Just show up. That's it. You show up,
That
and
is exactly. Yep.
we didn't know what was going to happen day by day, and that was the fun part, right? That
Yeah.
made it actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not
So,
knowing.
what exactly, and not knowing exactly how it's going to end on day 30. I have some ideas, but I don't know how we're going to just kind of like cinch this off as the end of a challenge. I have a feeling it's going to involve starting a new one. That's just kind of how challenges go. They become a little bit infectious and in a good way. So. Again, welcome. Brief overview of what we've done so far and where we're at, because we're doing something very specific tonight. We're taking kind of like the last go through of this song, Trials of a Pair, that is the Mrs. Pixel cover of this AI generated
The
song.
Orchard Brown.
The Orchard
Okay.
Brown.
You just saw
Yes.
in the opening when we started, right? Created by XEO, created by Dan, right? Took that character and you gave him wings.
Yeah.
And
And a stage and an audience.
yeah. I mean, let's not forget that part. You did a great job with that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, and that's the other thing too. I mean, I know we're dwelling on this a little bit that we didn't know each other, but I think that is a remarkable thing that I didn't even know. I didn't know who Orchard Brown was 28 days ago, but now here I am, like creating some content around this character, and I'm excited about it. And we both singing, so just let's not let the moment pass and have us remind everybody now that we have a few people watching live. So tell us about karaoke and what that is like, and what are the stakes there. So when is that? What do we do? What's
Again,
karaoke?
yeah. All right. So you bring the stakes. It's bring your own stakes to karaoke. You can bring parody. You can bring all seriousness. But the deal is you have to perform. It's all about the performance.
Yeah.
And then we have prizes for best and worst performance. We've got great prizes. We've got great merch. We give, or you can win $100 tip. You could win $100 buyback and burn for your choice of a meme coin, but you have to perform in some form and fashion.
Yeah. And I love that there are prizes for the best performance and for like the performances just kind of tanks, and that's camaraderie. That's family right there. And if you don't know what buyback and burn and all the meme coin things are, I don't either myself. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's also
You
low
don't have to.
stakes.
Yes, it's not just. It's got some crypto flair, but it's for anyone. Anyone can attend? Anybody that just likes to sing, that
Yep.
thing that we like to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. So here's what we're doing tonight. We're going to start by just a little bit of review of Laban, and that's what we've been studying in this latter half. If you want to join us in the challenge, this can be your day one. We've got all of this content from the very beginning, starting with Bartinia Fundamentals of Human Movement, with our amoeba self, like we just breathe in and out. That's our only job. It's binary code. Just breathe in, breathe out. And all the way up to these complex creatures that we are with cross-lateral movement and looking at all those sequences. So the first half of this challenge has been bringing our full body. The second half, I like to think of it as kind of that mind and spirit. You're bringing the emotion. So studying Laban movement analysis is something that I've been doing for years, and that's what I'm sharing. And specifically, let me just get this visual up here. I'm also a special education teacher, so I love visuals. I think that visuals improve all learning. So
I think that's well researched right there. There's a lot of data to back that up.
There really is. I've been looking into MTV as well, and there's actually an evidence-based practice called MTV,
Really?
which is memory. Let's see, MTV. Making thinking visual. I had to think about that, so I had a visual making thinking visual. That's MTV, right? So right, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get into too many rabbit holes. We've got yeah, yes. So we're looking at Laban movement analysis and this whole emotional piece of singing. We our bodies on stage, right? We're there. We've gone from this amoeba to this really complex creature, but we're still just there on stage, a human. And there's all these things we think, like, what should I do with my hands? What should I do with my arms? And I just lost my hearing, but it's back now. Yay. So what do I do with my shoulders? My neck is tense. How do I relax my jaw? How do I get more sound? All these physical things are going through us. At the same time, we're trying to carry a message. So we just, in this Laban movement analysis, we're looking at weight and space and time and flow. So weight is it heavy or direct? Is it heavy or light? Space is it direct or indirect? Time, is it quick or slow? And then flow, is it bound or free? And so that we look at all these combinations in what we're singing and how we're carrying our body. And then there's this movement vocabulary of efforts, a punch, a press, a slash, a ring, a dab, a glide, a flick, and a float. And all of these things we can bring to the words that we're saying and say, so for example, Mrs. Pixel, oh, the trials of a pear. Was it trials of a
Ring.
pear? Or
Oh.
was it trials of a pear? I don't remember. You know, this is how were you feeling? Like just, oh, the trials of a pear. How would you
That was
have that movement phrase?
kind of like a glide, and then maybe
Oh, the
a
trials
ring.
of a yeah. I know there was the glide in the ring. Oh, the trials of a pear, or oh, the trials of a pear. Which do both of those, and let's talk about that. Let's get that back in our body. What would the difference be to you? Like, oh, the trials of a pear, or oh, the trials of a pear.
Trials of, I kind of like the trials with the ringing.
The
Feels better.
trials of a pear. Yeah, it's kind of like we're ringing out the pear and like
Those are the trials. It's kind of heavy.
yeah. So that ring, it brings a heaviness to it, right? Yeah. So a ring is going to be heavy. It's going to be indirect. It's going to be slow and bound. And then we have this glide that's just kind of light. You know, it's like, I'm a pear. Like, life
pear,
is
what
the
are you
same
gonna
for
do
all
about it?
pears. Yeah. What are
Gotta
you gonna
do.
do about it? Yeah. So, you know, those are just a couple words. So we're going to just analyze this. I do want to manage real estate. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up your Bandlab. And this is one of the perks of joining this community. Let me get rid of this real estate. All right. So this, if you know, being in the How Can I Keep from Singing NAS.io community, you get access to our Bandlab class, and it's all free. Oh, did we say? We didn't say that. We don't say that enough. It's
We
a
don't.
free.
Yeah.
It's,
That's
yeah,
a
it's
great
not like
perk.
yeah, not a
I'm
free
just
trial.
saying.
It's a free community. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and
Oh, yeah.
what this means is you can actually download those tracks, and you know, obviously, responsibly purchase the tracks as an MP3. You can throw them into Bandlab, and then you can actually record yourself singing and make some of these decisions, hear yourself back. I know nobody likes to hear themselves sing, but the more we do it, the more we get over it, right? And then we can invite our inner critic to step out the door for the moment as you're listening to yourself and try and think, okay, I wonder if I was thinking of that more like a dab, or if I was thinking of that more like a ring. If we can kind of playfully give ourselves space to just observe and make decisions and apply what we observe, and then make predictions about what it might do, and not come to conclusions, that's going to really help us in analyzing our own performances in a way that is not debilitating, and we don't get analysis paralysis. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and break ourselves free of some analysis paralysis, and go ahead and hit that play button. And I want to just listen to what we have, and then we'll make some observations together, okay?
All right. Breaking that paralysis.
Here we go. Analysis paralysis. Breaking it.
Life as a pear ain't sweet, hanging on a branch and heat. White, look life's passing by. Tree above the cast its shade, beneath the sky a slowly fade. In the garden, toilets dry. There's a tough old kind of life. All the trials of a pear in the orchard's heavy air, destined for a basket cold sold, leaving stories left untold. Every pear has got its fight under sun and stars at night. Life ain't easy on a tree, but it's the only way for me. Gather drops of morning dew, faces in the market new. By and by the harvest calls, taking down the biggest balls. Oh, the trials of a pair in the orchard's heavy air, destined for a basket soul, leaving stories left untold. Every pair has got its fight under sun and stars at night. Life ain't easy on a tree, but it's the only way for me.
I am super excited to hear this part back.
Gathering drops of morning dew, faces in the market new. By and by the harvest calls, taking down the biggest falls. Oh, the trials of a pair in earth's heavy air, destined for a basket soul, leaving story left untold.
Oh, so good. Love the whistling.
Gathering drops of morning dew, faces in the market new. By and by the schools taking the biggest falls. All the trials of life in the orchard's heavy air, destined for a basket soul, leaving stories left untold. Leaving stories left untold.
All right. So now, first, I want to hear your observations, not critiques. Observations. Remember, your critic has left the building. So, what did you observe? And I'm going to even give you some of this language to remember. So, what did you observe?
But I overall, first of all, it needs more punch, just in general, in the vocals, like in the beat.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time tuning in to that backtrack and trying to find that. How would you say it?
The beat, right? I
Ooh.
mean, yeah, the subdivisions. And remember when we were talking about subdivisions, and if the beat's like dun dun dum bum ba-dum bum, we're really thinking you can tap on your surname bum 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 ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum, and you can even be thinking at the 16th note level, like ba-dum ba-da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, right? So that I think that will really help, and what we can do as we do more and more takes, and obviously we're not going to always do them together. You're gonna spread your wings and fly. So one thing you can do is turn on the metronome and just have that in your ear and be
Yeah, I
very
think that's a great
rigid and
idea.
technical about it. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
you also have to just internalize that beat because it's blues, it's jazz.
Yeah.
We have
Mhm.
to have that a little bit of flexibility between the downbeats, and then we're always just still arriving on that bum bum. And so what Laban can help us with too is know when you're punching, or know when that ring is happening. Oh, the trials, and so you can listen to the track and just do the motion with it, so you can hear what's going on and just kind of train your body like, All right, here's what's coming up, and this is where I have to have that trial. Good. Yeah, all very, it's a great observation.
Yeah, because when I'm singing, doing my shower singing or my karaoke singing, a cappella, of course, I feel like I'm doing a much better job keeping the beat and the rhythm in my head throughout. But I need more practice with that backtrack.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's, oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. Yeah. It's finished.
Well, I was just going to say that's one of the things I'd love to do. Actually, it's what I'm kind of glad we had this part of the discussion because this is what I had in my mind. I'd love to just do a backing track where we do. Remember, like a few days ago, where we did the bait and switch maneuver, and then you were like, "Oh wait, you can do this all just in one fluid step in CapCut." And so, by the way, that as content is going to be available in the community as well. I am don't have everything posted yet, but Mrs. Pixel even made a whole video on how to create your own karaoke tracks very easily. Anyway, I'd like to just create a track and then we can have the metronome guiding because it's really hard when you rip the vocals out of something to line it up, especially if it's something in the blues or jazz and you have that kind of wavering, flexible beat. Sometimes it's swung, sometimes it's swung a little bit and then in this particular song, there's actually a slowdown, which I love. So I know we do have to kind of start wrapping up because we're already 20 minutes into our 10-minute.
Pew, pew, pew,
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah. So, but I think what we can do, let's just kind of finish analyzing this, and then I'd like to actually create for a grand finale. I'll create a beat, and we'll have to if you're good to do the early normal version, we'll have that extra time. We can negotiate that, but we'll take a little more time for the finale, and we'll actually build a whole track together. Now that we know all of this technology, we know all of this, the terminology, and I'm actually going to probably build most of it ahead of time just to save time. But are you down for that? Like,
Yeah.
I ask you live. like, do you have a choice? No, I'm just kidding. No, I kind of feel that would be the best way to end this challenge is to actually create a full cover of this. Now that you've done all this experimentation and you can call the shots, and that's actually when you're doing a cover of something and an arrangement, you can slow down. So here's a couple observations I made, and then I want to hear anything else that you had. Number one, I felt in the second verse, when you kind of taught yourself on that word we changed from cold to sold, and I felt in your voice, and I even noticed, and if you look back at the replay of this, you'll notice I was laser focused on that first verse, and I was like, yeah. And then my attention kind of started drifting, and then I felt that in your voice, you were starting to get distracted by like, oh my gosh, there's this word coming up and I didn't account for it, and how am I gonna
Right.
pull in everything because it's so we can feel that in a performance is what I'm saying. And I could kind of just to say the power of what this Laban work is, I could actually sense that, and it started affecting the way that I'm even moving and engaging emotionally. But then when you kind of fixed it and you got back, and then when you got to that section that slowed down, I was like, I was in it, and the whistling just like, so that's the other thing. The whistling sealed it, but the whistling really makes the song. So this is a compositional thing. I would say for your cover, I would just bring the whistling back, because when you introduce something, there's always that expectation for something to come back, right? It's a recapitulation. And so you always have the choice to either defy that or to, gratify it. And I think there's a lot of power that you can do in like introducing that whistle in the instrumental part. It was so free, and it was a float. It was an all-out float.
Nice.
Light, indirect, slow, free, and it really drew me in as a listener. And then if you ended with that instead of like the kind of vocalizations, which have the same effect, and you could actually pick either one, but I think there's something about the whistling that is
I like
just
the whistle.
so, yeah, it's
I
so
love it.
spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love to whistle too, so it's right up my alley.
Yeah, awesome. Well, as we're closing out, other observations you made. I think this was really powerful. We recorded it yesterday. Now we're analyzing it, and now the assignment is rinse and repeat. You know, every day, because how can we keep from singing? But I want to hear any other observations you had.
Yeah, just or another general take is just a little bit monotone. You need to lean in more to those destinational phrases,
The phrasal destinations. Yep.
phrasal
Yep.
destinations. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was. But I think there was, like you were saying, the distraction, worrying about too many things,
Hmm.
and so I was
Yeah.
kind of just
What did you think went really well? I always like to end with that, and that's just
okay.
the optimist in
Um,
me and the coach.
I think what went really well.
And there are a lot of things, just so you know.
Okay, thank you. Um, well, I I I flubbed a few times, but I did get through the entire track.
Yes.
I made
Yeah.
it to
Okay.
the
So
end.
let's
And
do like inviting the critic out in action. So you can say, "I made it through the track," and then just sometimes you have to like say, you know. Actually, I had a friend, and I'll shout out Ashley, Ashley Pride, Glitter Guide. She is someone that said, you say something really cool in spaces and these different platforms we're on, and then you say something like, I hope that helps. So, or like, and then he's like, but it's only my experience. So I want to give you the authority to not take the air out of what you just said. You made it through the whole track, and it had a rock and roller coaster of challenges that you overcame. So celebrate that, and then you can say, and I flubbed a couple times. Just, don't say it into the mic. All right. Anyway, I'm teasing you,
yeah, yeah,
but
that's good advice.
yeah.
No, but you're right. We do that. That's what I'm trying not to overanalyze this, but at the same time,
I'm asking you to analyze it. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
just asking you to analyze it in a different way. And it's hard. It's really hard. I still struggle with it a lot too. To take something and look at it completely objectively and make observations and then ask yourself, I wonder. So here's an alternative, just, learning in action. Instead of us thinking to ourselves, oh, I messed up those notes, you could say, I wonder if I approach those notes with a little bit more levity and with a float instead of this ring. I wonder what that would feel like, and then try it. And then you're doing two things. You're saying you're just engaging in curiosity and wonder, but you're also you're a self coach, and a self guide, and saying like, okay, here's the reality. That wasn't the best I can do. What will make me do better?
yeah, absolutely. Because there are many, many possibilities, and as you can see with the Laban theory, that's a lot of context. That
It
chart is
is.
like infinite. With
I agree. There's a lot here. I'll give it one more grace on the stage, because this might be the last time we see this Laban chart, unless you're in this community. um, but it really is a lot and you can treat it as every action you take may have an equal and opposite reaction. But you also have, just with this chart, here are 7 more possibilities for that action. That's the way I like to think of it. And then think of the vocabulary of movement and emotion that gives you, especially when you apply it to daily conversations. And this is where you have to just be really, really grounded in the basic theory that this is observational, this is not conclusive, this is trying to connect through matching and through if you see somebody that is coming up to you and their rib cage is caved in a little bit and they're just kind of like, they have this really indirect and free energy to them. You could kind of feel what that feels like, and then like, I wonder if this is how they feel. But we don't want to say like, well, because this makes me feel this way, then you must be feeling that way. That's where it gets dangerous.
Exactly.
So, I like to say that it use it for the strengths of having more ways to look at things and more perspective.
It's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. So
Yep.
it puts
It's
you
like, yep.
puts you in your sweet tooth, gives
Mhm.
you, permission to play and participate in various expressions that you thought you didn't know, you didn't think about, right?
Yeah.
You
But
didn't know to explore. So it's like a roadmap for
it's a
that.
beautiful metaphor to end on. It puts you in your sweet tooth. Like that's an awesome expression.
Thank you.
Because pears are sweet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Pears are sweet.
Yeah. And so I think all we need to conclude this is maybe Mr. Pixel playing the air horn, and that's how this needs to land. All right. So we will see you tomorrow, bright and early, and we're gonna do the grand finale, and we're gonna make a track of this, and we're gonna make it a thing. I'm so excited.
Let's
So
go.
let's do it. All
Woohoo.
right. Make a beautiful evening.